All right, thank you guys. I'm feeling great on a Saturday morning because we went 4-1 in our 5 premium sports picks on BrockPage.com yesterday. That's going to put us at 8-0 with a push in our last 9 extra daily picks on that very same website. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We're also 8-1 in our last 9 college basketball tier package picks on that very same webpage. And the good news is we have another college basketball tier package pick going off here this evening. We currently have over 880 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at BrockPage.com. Now, Miami takes on Utah, 5 o'clock Eastern start time. The Utah Jazz are minus 7.5, totals 213. Now, both teams have been struggling a bit here over the past week or so. Having said that, though, it's actually Utah who's 4-1 straight up at home this year. They currently lead the NBA in defensive rebounding. The Jazz are allowing just 102 points per contest. They're also holding their opponents to just 31% shooting from beyond the arc. Donovan Mitchell's averaging nearly 2 steals a game defensively. The guard's also averaging over 4 rebounds a night. Now, D-Mitch is scoring 25 points a game offensively, and he's drilling 90% of his free throws. Meanwhile, Bojan Bogdanovic is scoring 16 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 92% shooting from the stripe. Utah is currently in the top 10 in scoring on average per game at home. They're taking on a Miami team who lost their last 3 straight, 1-4 straight up in their last 5. The Heat currently have a losing record on the road, and they're in the bottom 3 in second quarter points allowed away from home. Now, injury-wise, Morris is out, Butler is questionable. When it comes to the total in this one, Miami's last 4 straight got over the line, 6-1 to the over in their last 7. I'm going to lean toward the Jazz, minus 7.5, over 213. Next game, Sixers, Pacers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Indiana's minus 2.5, totals 217. The Pacers have won 4 out of their last 5 ball games, 6-2 against the spread in their last 8. Indiana's done a real nice job rebounding the basketball. They're in the top 10 in offensive rebounding, top 5 in defensive rebounding. Domantas Sabonis is grabbing over 11 boards a night, 18 points a game and 3 assists for Boney. Meanwhile, Malcolm Brogdon is scoring over 23.5 points a night along with 6 rebounds, 6 assists. They're taking on a Philly team who lost their last 3 straight, and they plan to go to work here without Joel Embiid along with Thibault and Joe. Philly's dead last in the association in offensive rebounding. The Sixers have also been breaking down defensively late in games. They're in the bottom 10 in fourth quarter scoring. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Philly's last 8 ball games fell under the number. Meanwhile, the Pacers are 4-1 to the under at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Give me Indiana minus 2.5, under 217. Next matchup, Grizzlies, Pelicans, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Memphis is minus 2.5, totals 221. But as bad as the Pelicans have been this year, it's the Grizzlies who lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games. And they also posted a record of just 1-3 against the spread during that span. Now, Brooks and Tilly are questionable today for the Grizzlies. Memphis also gives up a ton of points. They're in the bottom 3 in points allowed per contest. Dead last in the association in defending the 3-ball on the road. The Grizzlies are letting their opponents make 40% of their 3-pointers against them when traveling. They're taking on a Pels team who actually covered the number in 3 out of their last 6 home games. Now, New Orleans is in the top 3 in fourth quarter scoring at home. Brandon Ingram's averaging 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists for the forward. Ingram's also shooting 46% from downtown, so keep an eye on him. He's been on the injury report a bunch lately. If he ends up playing here today, should be pretty good news for Pelicans backers, although I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of Pelicans backers in this spot here. Now, the big man, Jonas Valanciunas, he's also scoring 20 points a night, along with 13 rebounds, couple assists. Now, the Pelicans have successfully covered the point spread in 8 out of their last 10 meetings with Memphis. When it comes to the total in this one, New Orleans is 5-1 to the under in their last 6 outings, 69% to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies went 7-2 to the under in their last 9 themselves. I'm going to lean toward New Orleans plus 2.5, under 221. Next game, Wizards Magic, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Washington is -4, totals 203.5. Now, the Wizards are going to work without Bradley Beal and Thomas Bryant. The Wizards are also still going to work without Bertans, Hachimura, and possibly Montrezl Harrell here tonight as well. And even when they were mostly healthy, earlier in the year, Washington failed to cover in 3 out of their last 5 ball games. They're scoring just 102 points per contest when traveling. Now, equally as bad, the Wizards are currently making just 29% of their three-pointers on the road. They're squaring off against an Orlando team who did win 2 out of their last 4, throwing out that Brooklyn game. The Magic currently ranks in the top 5 in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring. Cole Anthony's averaging over 19 points a night, 7 boards, 4 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Wendell Carter is drilling 40% of his three-pointers himself, 13 points a game for Carter. Now, injury-wise, no real surprise here as Moore and Carter Williams are still both out. And when it comes to the number in this one, Orlando's 4-1 to the under in their last 5. Washington is 4-0 to the under in their last 4 themselves. The Wizards have also gone 64% to the under for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward Orlando plus 4, under 203.5. Next game, Pistons Raptors, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. Toronto's -8.5, totals 201. The Raptors have won 6 out of their last 9 ball games. Top 3 in the NBA in defensive rebounding. Toronto's also giving up just 102 points per contest. Gary Trent Jr. is averaging 2.5 steals a night, 15 points a game for Trent as well. And speaking of scoring, Freddie VanVleet is scoring nearly 20 points a game himself, along with 5 boards, 7 assists. They're taking on a 2-9 Detroit team who scores fewer points per contest than any other team in basketball. Detroit's averaging just 94 points a game, and they're making only 30% of their three-pointers. Now, the Pistons are also dead last in offensive field goal percentage as well. And when it comes to the injury report, Olynyk and Livers are still out indefinitely. Meanwhile, for Toronto, Birch, Watanabe, and Achua are listed as questionable. Now, 2 out of Toronto's last 3 ball games did get over the line. The Raptors are also 4-3 to the over on their home court. Give me Toronto -8.5, over 201. Next matchup should actually be a good one. I'm talking about Celtics Cavs, 8 o'clock East. Boston's -2.5, totals 203. And speaking of the total, the Celtics saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line. Boston's also 4-3 to the over in their road games this season. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with the Celtics get over the total themselves. As far as picking a winner in this one, if you want to see whether I'm riding with the Cavaliers or the Celtics in this ball game, this contest is being featured as my extra daily pick on BrockPage.com. And once again, guys, we're 8-0 with a push in our last 9 extra daily picks on that website. So once again, if you want to see whether I like the Cavaliers or the Celtics in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my extra daily pick on BrockPage.com. But as far as a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean toward the over 203 in that ball game. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup. It is going to be T-Wolves versus the Clippers, 10:30 Eastern tip-off. LA's -6.5, totals 221. LA won their last 6 straight. They're in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, the Clippers are also holding their opponents to just 29% shooting from beyond the arc at home. Paul George averages 2.5 steals a night, 7 rebounds for PG. Meanwhile, scoring-wise, George is scoring over 26.5 points a game, along with 5 assists. Meanwhile, Nicholas Batum is draining 47% of his three-pointers, 11.5 points a game for Nick. The Clippers are in the top 3 in third quarter scoring. They're taking on a Minnesota club who lost 6 out of their last 7. The T-Wolves are also covering the point spread in just 27% of their games this year. Minnesota's currently dead last in the association in defensive rebounding. And when it comes to the injury report, the T-Wolves are actually relatively healthy right now. Meanwhile, on the other side, LA's got Morris, Preston, and Johnson listed as out. Now, 5 out of the Clippers' last 9 ball games fell under the total. Meanwhile, the T-Wolves are 73% to the under for the whole year. Give me the LA Clippers minus 6.5, under 221. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 8-0 with a push in our last 9 extra daily picks. I like Utah minus 7.5 over 213. Indiana minus 2.5 under 217. I like the Pelicans plus 2.5 under 221. Give me Orlando plus 4 under 203.5. I like Toronto minus 8.5 over 201. I'm also leaning toward the over 203 in the Boston-Cleveland game. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 8-0 with a push in our last 9 extra daily picks on brockpage.com. We're also 8-1 in our last 9 college basketball tier package picks on that very same website. I'm going to lean toward the Clippers minus 6.5 under 221. And with that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to Mr. Do Right, who said the other day, "Good picks, Brock." All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on that website, you are going to get access to that content all the way through the end of November. I always tell folks the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.